How are trade tensions and tariffs affecting the home reno trade, and what does it mean for the home improvement stocks? It's time for Home 2.0, presented by TracFone, and here to discuss their latest quarterly report is the National Kitchen and Bath Association CEO Bill Darcy. So, Bill, tariffs. I was just doing some building, and our estimate on the floor went up 30%. What are you seeing in the bath and kitchen portion of home renovations right now?
Yeah, we track this quarterly through our Kitchen and Bath Market Index with John Burns Real Estate Consulting, and we have 50% of our members are telling us it's impacting them in some moderate or significant way. Costs, either they pass along to the consumer or they're eating this into their margin. So costs have gone up slightly. It is dependent on the product. Is fairly.
What are the worst products? Like, where are you seeing the?
I mean, in the stone and tile countertop surfaces, wood can vary. Metals of certain types, have impacted it. But in the aggregate cost of a remodel, sometimes yes, it would factor into you selecting maybe a different faucet because you're trying to cater within budget. So we're seeing some tightening on the higher end where you have a decision to make of maintaining your budget and maybe selecting a slightly less fancy product, if you would.
Now, another cost inside of that budget, that's a main part of it, is going to be labor. And we know the labor market, especially for construction, has been extremely competitive over the last few years. What are your members telling you about their ability to hire and to keep people on their teams who are getting offers elsewhere?
It is the number one concern in our industry because usually tariffs and product price, materials costs are discussed, but by far labor, number one, finding skilled labor in their markets to finish these projects. They're costing more, they're taking longer to complete. We're doing all we can with a Next Up initiative to try to introduce young people to the trades because of, I could sit here and talk for hours about trade school and college and, what you need. Our members need a lot of people, whether it's an engineer or a fundamental contractor. It is impactful, very impactful.
And when we look at your kitchen and bath market index, you're showing that that's well above 50, so
yes.
It's indicating that there is still expansion.
Correct.
Are we seeing certain geographic regions, maybe certain housing markets, where this is stronger or less strong than that average?
We actually only track it nationally currently. However, you do see pockets where you have more growth than others. But generally speaking, it is expanding still. We're cautiously optimistic about Q4, but it's still expanding where people are still investing in that kitchen and bath. It's boomer cash, not financing primarily. And they are using, if you're going to invest in your home, it's fairly logical where you're going to put the money, where you spend most of your time, kitchen and the bath.
So you usually get to these decisions when everything's already taken down, and so you're forced to make a decision, right? You have to pick something that's maybe not what you were planning to pick because it's less expensive or it's different. So what are those products that people are going to? Are we finding that American-made products that maybe somebody hadn't picked before but now is less expensive compared to something else they were going to go for? They're going to those, and what brands are those?
Yeah, interesting you say that. In our study, it showed one in three of our companies are actually introducing products or selling products at a more competitive price now because imports are kind of more at a level with those products. So we have a little bit of a boom going on with the American products. It's generally across the board. It's not one over another generally, but it is interesting how this impact has driven costs up for the consumer. However, it has driven more American product purchases.
And then do you have a sense, and I don't know if your study or your work kind of tracks this stuff, but do you have a sense of what the remodel business is kind of geared towards right now? Is it folks who are about to leave their home and want to put it on the market to get a higher price point? Is it young couples that have just bought a home for the first time and are trying to upgrade it? Or is it perhaps, and we see a lot of stories of older folks staying in their homes a lot longer than they had planned because, just where am I going to go? The value of my home has gone up, and so I might as well make it nicer if I'm going to be sticking around for a while.
Yeah, multiple things are happening. People are staying in their homes longer, and the housing stock in the U.S., 65%, nearly 40 years old. So you have this natural occurrence where you need to upgrade products or replace products. People staying in the home longer, multiple generations living in the home. So whether it's treating for your child and your parents, you're adapting your functional workspace or your living space for those two types of things. So those two things, it has having a big impact on where people are spending their money. Technology, of course, is entering our world in a very fast pace in these two rooms. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do in the kitchen? everything, so it has to adapt, and so those things are impacting that.
Are smart fridges like going to work one day? I mean, I know they sell them, but I see
they
them
do
and
work. They do work. There's a lot of things that our members tell us the most meaningful products for the consumer are ones that do truly change your life or make it better or more efficient. There's a lot of things that technology will do for us that it can do. Does it really need to do it? Probably not, but there's a lot of connected devices in the home right now, and bringing that all together is a big part of what our members do to try to, the NKBA members try to help people create those spaces that are most efficient and practical for their needs.
That is a growth industry, getting
Absolutely.
somebody to install all of that. Bill Darcy, National Kitchen and Bath Association CEO, thanks so much.
Thank you guys for having me.